very good evening to you, dear viewers. It's exactly 6 p.m. Cairo local time. Now it's time for this English news bulletin coming to you out of Channel 2. This is Reem Tamer, and we start right away with the headlines. NEA stresses that Senate voting process on second day of voting of Egyptians abroad is regular. Gaza Civil Defense says Israeli fire kills 22. Three people die in overnight Ukrainian drone strikes on Russia. Welcome back. The news in full. The head of the National Election Authority, Councillor Hazem Badawi, stressed that all the indicators regarding the level of participation in voting by Egyptians abroad in the Senate elections reflects a high degree of electoral awareness of the importance of democratic participation and the implementation of their constitutional rights. Councillor Badawi confirmed that the election process is going smoothly and regularly. He added that holding the election process on the scheduled time reflects a strong commitment from Egyptian state with all its authorities and institutions to the constitutional and legal regulations. He pointed out that the voting process is also a clear message that Egypt is stable at all social and political levels in light of several regional challenges. The National Election Authority stressed that the Senate voting process on the second day of voting for Egyptians abroad is regular and there are no reports of any obstacles. The authority pointed that it is continuously in contact with different Egyptian missions abroad that are organizing the election process. The Executive Director of the National Election Authority, Councillor Ahmed Bindari, said the authority managed to empower Egyptian citizens abroad to use and execute their constitutional and political rights. Bindari added that the authority is also following up on the voting process till the closure of the first committee, thanking the Egyptian ambassadors in all countries for the efforts they exerted in regulating the elections. Polling stations abroad reached 136 stations distributed across diplomatic and consular missions in 117 countries worldwide. Egyptian nationals abroad continue casting their votes on the second day of the Senate elections, being the second chamber of the Egyptian parliament. In Kuwait, the Egyptian community continues voting at the Egyptian embassy amid a high turnout that will continue till 9 p.m. according to the timetable set by the National Election Authority. The Egyptian ambassador to Kuwait, Osama Shaltut, said the first day of voting has witnessed a high turnout from Egyptians that were keen to participate in this important event. In France, Egyptian expatriates also headed to the electoral polling stations to vote in the Senate 2025 elections in the second day and last day of voting. Egyptian nationals were also keen to cast their ballots on the first day of voting. Today is expected to witness a high turnout, being the weekend. The Egyptian diplomatic mission in France has taken all logistic and regulatory measures to guarantee a smooth voting process and provide maximum comfort for Egyptians coming from different French cities. Head of State Information Service Diya Rashwan announced that the service has completed its preparations of regulating international media coverage of Senate elections. He added that this voting remarkably attracts the attention of international media, with a huge number of global media offices filing applications to monitor the voting process. He pointed that the licenses were given to 86 Arab and foreign media entities, including 82 media institutions and 4 media service companies. He added that the SIS is following up the election process through an operation chamber to remove any obstacles facing media correspondents while covering Senate elections. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Immigration and Egyptian Expatriates stressed Egypt's keenness to maintain consultation and coordination with the United States in light of the two countries' long-standing strategic partnership and common interests. Minister Abdel-Ati made the remarks during his meeting with U.S. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, during which he conveyed the greetings of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. For his part, Johnson welcomed the President's warm gesture, hailing Egypt's pivotal role in supporting regional security and stability, as well as its efforts in Gaza ceasefire talks. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli praised the vital role of the Cabinet Supreme Medical Committee for Emergencies in reporting and receiving urgent medical appeals of citizens and deal with them immediately in coordination with concerned ministries and entities. This came as Prime Minister Madbouli was following up on the efforts of the Supreme Medical Committee for Emergencies in the Cabinet during July 2025 through a report filed by head of the committee and Prime Minister's medical advisor, Dr. Hussam al-Masri. For his part, Dr. Hussam al-Masri said that during this period there were responses to 1,190 appeals that were reported on social media websites and applications. Gaza's Civil Defense Agency said Israeli gunfire and airstrikes killed at least 22 people, including 12 who were waiting to collect food aid and 3 women in the war-battered Palestinian territory. At the new Alamein city, with a number of companies specialized in aerial survey and seismic imaging to discuss cooperation on implementing a national project to establish a comprehensive geological database covering all Egyptian territories. The meeting came as part of the third pillar of the Ministry of Petroleum's strategy to maximize the added value of mineral wealth and increase the mining sector's contribution to the GDP from less than 15 to 5 to 6%. During the meeting, Minister Badawi emphasized that the mining sector is now receiving growing global attention due to the comprehensive reform that have been taken. The minister instructed that a comprehensive and global plan should be developed by the participating companies. This plan should include the short, medium and long-term timelines, along with recommendations identifying priority for areas for aerial survey activities. OPEC Plus will likely approve another oil output hike on Sunday, as the producer group was still debating the final size of the increase for September. OPEC Plus, which pumps about half of the world's oil, has been curtailing production for several years to support the market, but it reversed the course this year to regain market share, and as U.S. President Donald Trump demanded OPEC pump more oil to help keep a lid on gasoline prices. 8 OPEC Plus members could boost output by 548,000 barrels per day in September, while discussions on the volume were ongoing and the hike could be smaller. Moving to the exciting world of sports, Newcastle have rejected Liverpool's opening bid to sign unsettled Sweden striker Alexander Isak. Isak has been training at his old club Real Sociedad this week after reportedly telling Newcastle he wants to leave St James Park. The 25-year-old has been linked with Liverpool since the end of last season, and the Premier League champions are now believed to have formalized their interest with an offer of around 110 million plus potential add-on. The European Union's top court ruled that some decisions by international governing bodies such as FIFA and the International Olympic Committee can be challenged outside Switzerland, opening up a system that currently binds athletes, officials and clubs to accept verdicts there. A statement from the European Court of Justice said that tribunals in the 27 EU member states must be able to carry out an in-depth review of those awards for consistency with the fundamental rules of EU EU law. The ECJ ruling in Luxembourg means that EU national courts should be able to review verdicts from the Swiss-based Court of Arbitration for Sports Switzerland. Switzerland is not a member of the European Union. Dear viewers, this brings us to the end of this English News Bulletin. Came to you out of Channel 2. That was Dream Tamer. Now it's time to say thank you for watching.